I guess they protect child. That's how you protect a child. You know, dating her at the age of 30-something years old and she's 17, 18 years old. If that's her true age. We really don't know her true age because Gabrielle Union said she went to junior high school with her, and Gabrielle Union is considered 6-7 years older than Beyonce age that she getting. So we really don't know. You know what I'm saying? But to get back to your letter.
So you think you know the story of Jay-Z and Beyoncé? Well, buckle up, because the T-Jean deal just spilled a whole new light. What if I told you there's more to their love story than meets the eye? And it might involve secrets, silenced voices, and a timeline that just doesn't add up? Yeah. Things are about to get messy, and trust me, you'll want to stay till the very end to hear this. Let's dive straight into it. Gene Deal, a longtime insider in the industry, just dropped some bombshells that have everyone talking. According to him, whispers about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's relationship timeline have been circulating for years, but what's new is how it all ties back to a bigger, more tangled web of power, influence, and secrets. In a recent interview, Gene didn't hold back.
Well, I think that his lawyer did a great job, somewhat, with the information that he had. I know people in the industry, been around for a long time, was there when he first started dating Beyonce at 17, 18, he was 30-something. You didn't know his age. I look back and see how old Jay-Z was.
He claimed that Jay-Z allegedly started dating Beyoncé when she was just 17 or 18 years old. Now, Jay-Z would have been in his 30s at the time, making this relationship more than just a little controversial. Gene even hinted that Beyoncé's true age might be different than what's been publicly shared, which, if true, only deepens the mystery. And let's talk about those early days. Gene described how Beyoncé was spotted in clubs she wasn't even old enough to enter. He painted a murky picture of an industry where rules didn't seem to apply to the elite. According to him, this wasn't just about youthful rebellion, but rather an orchestrated introduction to a world far beyond her years. But that's not even the half of it. Here's where things take a darker turn. Gene also claimed that Beyoncé's father, Mathew Knowles, was not on board with the relationship. Allegedly, Jay-Z tried to silence Mathew, preventing him from speaking out about what was happening. Now, whether this was to protect Beyoncé's image or something else entirely remains unclear, but it raises a lot of questions. Was Mathew forced into silence? And if so, why? But wait, it doesn't stop there. Let's fast forward to a major incident that had everyone buzzing back in 2014, the infamous elevator fight. Remember when Solange went off on Jay-Z? At the time, people speculated it was about infidelity, but what if it was something deeper? Some sources suggest Solange had been harboring years of frustration, witnessing her sister deal with the pressures of being married to a man whose past, and perhaps present, was constantly under scrutiny. That night in the elevator may have been the culmination of years of bottled up emotions. Speaking of bottled up emotions, let's not forget Jay-Z's current legal battles. As of now, he's facing serious allegations involving a woman who claims she was assaulted at just 13 years old. While Jay-Z's legal team has aggressively denied the accusations and even filed motions to dismiss the case, the shadow these allegations cast over his public image is undeniable. And if you think this has nothing to do with his past relationships, think again. This is about patterns, power, and the unchecked influence of men in the music industry. Oh, and here's where it gets even spicier. Do you remember the fallout between Jay-Z and Dame Dash? Well, rumor has it that part of their split wasn't just about business. According to insiders, it had a lot to do with Jay's relationships. Dame reportedly couldn't stand by while Jay worked with R. Kelly, a man with a disturbing history of his own. And get this, some people believe Jay himself may have had a thing for Aaliyah. Yeah, let that sink in for a moment. But what about Beyoncé in all of this? While she's famously private, her father's silence on these matters is deafening. Mathew Knowles has never publicly addressed these allegations, and some insiders claim he's been silenced, either through pressure or for the sake of his daughter's career. Whatever the case, his silence leaves a void that's only filled with speculation. And let's talk about the power couple narrative. Allegedly, their relationship was as much a strategic move as it was a romantic one. With Jay-Z's street cred and Beyoncé's polished image, they crafted a dynamic that dominated not just music, but fashion, business, and pop culture. But behind the glitz and glamour, was it all just a carefully constructed facade? Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this just industry gossip? Maybe. But when you start connecting the dots, Gene Deal's revelations...
69. I think he was born in 69. Beyonce, they say she was born in 81. You understand? But back then, in 81, when we was in the club together, 98, 99, she wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but she was in the club. It was Club Eugene, and Jay was dating her. And at that time, if you look at Jay's age, he was about 30 years old. So isn't she still somewhat a child? To me, she is. But I guess they protect child that's how you protect the child, dating her.
The timeline discrepancies, the elevator fight.
You've probably seen it. It's making the rounds. It's a surveillance video showing Beyonce's sister, Solange, attacking brother-in-law Jay-Z on an elevator.
Jay-Z's current legal woes. It's hard to dismiss it all as mere coincidence. One angle we haven't explored yet is how this story impacts their fans. For years, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been held up as hashtag couple goals. Their marriage, family, and success have inspired millions. But if these allegations hold any truth, it forces fans to reconcile the image they've idolized with a far more complicated reality. How do you separate the art from the artist when the narrative starts to unravel? And then there's the question of accountability. If Jay-Z did indeed try to silence Mathew Knowles or manipulate public perception, what does that say about the lengths he's willing to go to maintain his image? Power and influence in the entertainment world are nothing new, but the way they're wielded often goes unnoticed until someone decides to speak out. Gene Deal's decision to do so now raises the stakes. What about Solange? Her role in this story often gets downplayed, but she's clearly been an unwavering advocate for her sister. That elevator incident wasn't just a random outburst, it was a statement that perhaps she saw something in Jay-Z that others chose to ignore. Solange's actions might have been one of the few times someone publicly called him out. And speaking of calling out, let's not ignore the broader industry context. The music world has long been a space where powerful men operate without consequence. From questionable age gaps in relationships to allegations of abuse, these issues aren't just about one person. They're about a system that allows these behaviors to persist. Gene Deal's revelations might just be the tip of the iceberg. As for Beyoncé, her silence speaks volumes. Whether out of loyalty, strategy, or something else entirely, her decision not to address these controversies directly has left fans and critics alike speculating. Is she complicit, or is she trapped in a narrative she can't escape from? It's a question that doesn't have an easy answer. And let's not forget, the legal battles Jay-Z is currently facing could have ripple effects far beyond the courtroom. These cases bring his past under a microscope, forcing the public to re-examine everything they thought they knew about him. The outcome of these lawsuits might not just determine his innocence or guilt, but also reshape how the industry handles these types of allegations moving forward. So, what do we take away from all this? Maybe it's a reminder that even the most seemingly perfect stories have cracks. Or maybe it's a wake-up call to look more critically at the people we idolize. Either way, one thing's for sure. This story is far from over. Gene Deal's revelations have opened the floodgates, and there's no telling what might come out next. And there you have it, folks. The story behind the story. What do you think? Are Gene Deal's claims just the tip of the iceberg? Or is this all much ado about nothing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more jaw-dropping industry stories. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.